Welcome to Inspiring Minds, where captivating narratives fuel our aspirations for a better world. Join Anabel as she introduces extraordinary individuals whose stories motivate us to act for a world worth living in.
Hello and welcome, Max, here to the show. I'm very happy to have you here.
Hi, Anabel. Thanks for having me.
Imagine a world where sharing isn't a business model but a way of life, where neighbors lend tools, exchange trust, and build connection through simple acts of giving. That world once shaped a boy named Max Lehmann, somebody from a small village who believed that community could be more powerful than competition. Many years later, in the bustle of Hamburg and at the edge of failure with his startup fainin, he found his way back to that childhood truth that technology only matters if it reconnects us as humans. Today, fainin stands not just as a platform, but as a living network of shared purpose. Let's meet the man behind the movement. So I'm happy to have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Annabelle. Thank you for having me here and also sharing my story because this really became my life and my purpose.
I mean, to be honest, when we met first time, it was really that after we were already in contact virtually, it was super clear for me from the first moment that I support you in any way I can, because I felt that power, this burning for this topic, that this is not just a kind of lifestyle or something, but it's more. It's for you this engagement that carries you through the word, through life, and where you just never stops until you reach your goal. And for me, it's clear that I support this with anything I can. So I mean, your story is really fascinating, also with sharing your failures, but of course also with sharing your triumph. And I mean, you got many, and I didn't want to start with that, but celebration fits so perfectly for you. Do you want to share a few words with us about
Yes, of
why?
course. I grew up in a very small village with just 150 people where sharing came naturally. And when I moved to one of the larger cities, Hamburg in Germany, in northern Germany, I realized sharing is not the status quo. Even though there's so many neighbors in the large multifamily house that I lived in, I had to borrow my drill and drone or camera at my sister's or even purchase it myself and have it sitting around 99% of the time. So the actual I just wanted to solve a problem. I don't wanted to found a business. I don't wanted to be an entrepreneur because of being an entrepreneur. I just wanted to solve a problem that I had myself.
Yeah, this is great, and I feel this fire, and I love that how you see it. And is there also maybe something? I mean, you described this small village, and I can really feel it. I mean, I didn't grow up that the same, but my parents moved from the inner city of Bonn to
Mhm.
a small village in the Emsland, where there were also just 150 people, and was a totally different mindset. And I didn't came along very well in the first place because I knew I was not aware how it is to leave your front door open. How it can be that somebody just stands in your kitchen and asking you for an egg. And I was totally confused in the first weeks about that until I understood that this is real environment protection. This is real community building without need of just a campaign or grassroots or a shout out on social media. It's just itself. Do you have a kind of images which come to your mind, which maybe also guide you through just like the story with the egg?
Yeah, it was just normal. I grew up obviously as a little boy, so it was just for me, it was very normal to go around, see my neighbors, and ring the doorbell and just ask, "Hey, is the son X or Y? Is he at home at the moment? Can we do something? Can we play football or soccer or whatever?" So this trust and the feeling nothing bad can happen in this village. This is something that is really like when I'm looking back, is really resonating in my heart.
I like this very much. I like for especially one word you said, trust, because trust is such a big word. And I mean, if we look back, I can remember times where my family was really addicted to the church. And if you said anything bad about the church, for example, no, he behaved not really in the way he should behave about a priest or a religious teacher, said, no, 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 you can't say this. You have to trust the church. Everything is fine. And for me, there came some breaks. And so but in this thinking of this village, or maybe also of strong families, there's so much trust in things, which
Mhm.
keeps you confidence and is like a ground, which is also good for your later development, right? And so many people don't have this. What do they have? I mean, do they have a substance?
Yes, I think that, you're addressing something very, very important, I would say, because community is the key to joy in life, I would say. And it doesn't
Yeah,
matter where you find this community from. It can be from your club, it can even be your workplace when you identify yourself with your business or project so much, you can find your friends and deep connections within that, or also the school or your neighbors. And this community is, I think, what is making people happy because if like I don't know it myself. I'm just in the end of my 20s, but if I look back at my happy moments in my youth and childhood, it's always with the other people, with the community that I have built or I have joined.
that's so great because I think it is the memories and the big pictures, the storytelling we have and can tell us by ourselves again and again that we know that this word is a good one originally, and we can keep it a good one if we bring it back, bring us back to the connection to the nature. Was this also something which you have in your mind that nature played a role, or was it just given?
Nature played a big role in my life because my family is very nature connected. So we went into the woods very,
Oh,
very
nice.
often, just looking into the forest because my father, he had this addiction to making me know every plant and every tree in the forest. So it's very funny when I walk through the forest. If you ask me anything, it's just like, yeah, I know this, I know this, and it's just natural for me. It was an advantage in school. I don't know whether I use that knowledge at all anymore. But I think this connection just comes from house.
This is really funny. I laugh because I have a I had a similar father in that way. He taught me all names of plants of the forest, and he taught me them in Latin. So when I started Latin at school, the teacher was really confused because I started talking about these plants and asked him something, and he didn't know any of these words. And in my word, he was then not somebody anymore whom I could trust in his field.
This is so impressive. But do you see something like how important it is how we talk to our children and how it
Yes,
will shape their lives in the future? I
yeah,
think this has made me the person that I am today, that my parents were supporting me, including me into the conversations, asking me for my opinion,
yeah.
and yeah, treating me almost like an adult from the early days on.
You're absolutely right, and this is also super important what you're saying now. And I can feel I this is also parallel between us because at our table, in the kitchen, there was a box, and when there was a topic which came up in politics or about neighbors, families, or whatever, it came on the table, and it was a kind of box. We said this is a speaker box, so it was thrown to the person who should say something. And it was done by not by accident, but by purpose. It was done sudden. So you had to speak sudden, and you had to fight for your for the things. And it was often I felt it was not fair. So, for example, I was at the non school with girls only. I hated it. And then I raised my voice, and I can remember where I said, "Hey, this nun attacked me again. This is all bullshit. I don't want to go to the school anymore." My father said, "Facts." So it was like in a courtroom, and I think it made me also being confident, but also having a communication skill, where I'm not afraid of that this will disappear.
The thing you said with the box, this is some very good example, I would say, for community and the rituals you have in that community. Like in your family, in this inner circle, I love that ritual, and I've never heard that in a family context. This sounds like a tool for business meetups, right? Um,
Yes.
but every community has different rituals,
Rituals.
right? And it's all about us and choosing those rituals and establishing them and following them.
Yeah, and it's funny by saying this. I mean, we have trust, or you said trust, you said rituals. Both is really as two strong things where now people like to pay a lot for this, say it truth, to name it longevity rules. But what you say, it was for you nature, wasn't it?
Exactly. It was just natural, and how society or my outer world has shaped me a little bit and treated me and taught me that that was a good way of life.
Oh, I can imagine. And do you have still this strong connection to nature that, for example, if you're back or if you look for some relaxation or if you have to think about something?
Yes, I love taking time off and going to the sea or going into the forest. I love in fall mushroom hunting, a very secret about me that is very rare in Germany. But I really appreciate that time, and appreciate spending time there. A lot less than the years ago, but when I can, I do spend time in nature. Yes.
What is it exactly? Can you describe it?
So this
Hmm?
one thing my father taught me is mushroom hunting, and it's
Ah,
like selecting edible mushrooms from the forest. And like it just feels like you get a dopamine rush when you find mushrooms. It's like you don't find one, you find a lot usually.
I got only hunting, so I was curious about what hunting it might be.
No, mushroom hunting.
And this is also parallel between us. I can imagine finding a huge one as a kid, and was really excited. Mommy, I found a really big one. Oh my God.
Exactly.
And it's hunting for food, isn't it? Something which is also very, um, yeah, very existential. You can find everything what you need in nature for yourself. Nature is giving you what you need, and it's a give and get by having a fair relationship with nature.
Exactly, yeah. I was just at a friend's in London, and it was so funny. He had gardenings in the city of London, and I was so surprised about that, and positively surprised and excited when I visited him in summer. He was like, "Yeah, tonight we will eat a salad from my garden, uh, and let it nourish your body."
This is great. And therefore, I love also these kind of small houses people living in the city have borrowed to like be able to have a little bit of the spirit of gardening, maybe having chickens, getting the eggs, having this feeling of nature and how we are connected to, right?
Mhm.
And I mean, you said you moved from a small village to Hamburg, and you already shared a picture with us. Before we go into the break, I would like to draw one question to you. When you imagine, so moving the first day into this house, was it that the people said, "Hello, welcome," or was there a welcome party, or was there something which said, "Oh, great, Max, great that you're here. Can I share some things with you to make it easy for you?"
So probably it's very stereotypical, but Germans are a little bit, let's say, stiff and not as open as other cultures. So it was like, okay, a little bit distant the first time I moved in. Everybody was very like interested in knowing my story, and as I'm very extroverted, I was going towards them and being like, as you said, "Hello, nice to meet you. Here I am. I'm super excited to like maybe." Do something with you, or make a plan, or just have some joy and fun. Um, and over time, and this is very special about Northern German people, you build very strong connections, but it takes sometimes. So you have to meet at least like two, three times until you speak about private life, about your purpose, about your growth. And the way where we come from, like I grew up very close to Bonn, also like two
Ah,
hours far away in Rhineland-Palatine.
Oh, nice.
So, and there the people are much more warm-hearted compared to Northern Germany. So there is a little cultural difference. I think in the UK there must be as well.
I wanted to ask you one question, which might arise to some people thinking, I mean, you're so close to environment, you are a fighter for environment. Um, was this also kind of a decision for a special study you did?
No, that wasn't the foundation of the studies I wanted to do. I did a commercial consultancy before my studies
Mhm.
because honestly, my sister wanted me to come to Hamburg because it's like 6 hours away from my hometown. But they told me, okay, Max, you want to be a founder because I told them that right away, okay, I want to change the way society works. I want to shape the new world a little bit, but towards the better. I want to contribute towards this change and transformation. And they were like, okay, probably do a business studies if you don't want to fix yourself to one specific road. So started that. I really liked that, but I felt okay for my entrepreneurial journey. I didn't learn enough. So I started a second master in business informatics because I wanted to build IT software solutions. And since the startup we already founded in the first studies was very tech related, the second studies was helping me in my professional journey as well.
Wow, I get really goosebumps because we get so much parallels. Same here. Because I thought the same. I want to change the word. So the word which is upcoming is a digital word, and especially in villages, I want to be connected. And if nobody can help me with that, I have to help myself. So I have to step into the world of IT and coding. Um, and I think it's great because if you want to change a word, you have to know the word. And knowing the word systems helps you to break the system, to change the system, transform the system. If we are just surfing on a wave, which has nothing to do with it, but we want to be part of this, I think we never get there. Um, and now comes my question. So, what inspired your first idea of this tech for good?
So I just wanted, as I said, I wanted to contribute towards a positive change in society, and I wanted to actually bring this trust that we talked in the very first place of the small village. I wanted
Mhm.
to bring that and establish that within larger cities or where it's needed the most. And I saw all of these resources wasted, and I thought, okay, like how am I going to do that? Because I was already renting out items in the small village, it was no problem. I had all of my tools, and when I became more grown up person, I also had other tech equipment, and I started renting those out to my other colleagues, the other students from the school. And when I moved to Hamburg, I thought, okay, what am I going to do now? Can I trust the other people? And I decided to digitize this whole process for myself. So again, what I said is I just wanted to solve my own problem. I didn't even know I was creating a business back in the day. And from that, it shaped a little bit to that platform because I realized, okay, all of the students have the same problem. We don't want to buy a drill or a pressure washer for cleaning or setting up the house once and having those things sit idle 99% of the time. Long story short, shape that for the students without thinking about how are we going to make money. Fast forward now, 5 years after launching the business and actually making a business out of this, we built this for companies. And
Mhm.
this really is a lot larger, how do you say, leverage, I would say, for bringing impact into society. Because once we hit an organization and collaborate with them, we enable all of the organization members to share within the circuit. And this establishes trust and creates sustainable consumption. And this is just fascinating me, you know?
Can you share with us maybe a small story? Because in my inner eye, I just try to imagine you're getting into a company, you're giving them a keynote, and they look like, oh, oh, can I trust my colleague? What if I don't get this back? So do you
I
want
get
to?
those questions all the time. Everybody is like, okay, what if it's damaged? What if I don't get it back at all? What happens if we like get an argument? But that is actually the value proposition of fainin. So we provide the design for trust so strangers can share like friends. We have like automated contract, AI integrations that will prevent fraud, and in case anything breaks, the insurance will cover every damage because we're working with a partner there as well.
What I like is you're very open, and not just with telling the success of what you did and what is your driver, but also you the challenges. Can you share with us one challenge? Because I love what you describe, and it put me at it was like pressing a button also to my own experience where I sat there with something and I wanted to bring this into a word, and I was so crazy motivated about it because I knew that it makes the world a better place, but it failed. And I was sitting there and said, no, it's just not finished yet. I know I haven't not just finished now the successful path. It's not a failure.
This is so philosophical. I really, really love it. I'm very happy to share because it's been ups and downs. We're doing this since 5 years now. We started
Yeah.
with a public marketplace. Imagine like an Airbnb app for items. And it was super, super hard to bring supply and demand together because it doesn't make sense if the drill is just in Berlin and I'm sitting in Hamburg and I want to drill a hole here. Just this just doesn't fit. So, and we needed money for that, obviously. But since
Mhm.
we were in our early 20s, no investor was trusting us. They wanted to validate that we can build and found a company. So we were sitting there with no money and just our motivation. This took like 1 or 2 years until we had an app that was really, really good and working flawlessly. But we had to do that ourselves, and we did not have the marketing power to be pushing that into the market. So nobody knew us basically, even in the city. So we leveraged the community we were already in. Back like in the village, but in the village, honestly, you don't need that application. The people trust each other already. But within the university where we were studying every day and spending most of our times, we realized, okay, if we build an exclusive environment where only students of our university can access, it will actually increase the layer of trust and
Mhm.
enable us to bring supply to demand where it's actually needed. And now we are enabling students to share their drill or their party equipment or also games and stuff. Like it's very interesting in those different exclusive communities, things are shared from very different categories.
Mhm.
Um, so the it was like a marathon, what was like holding me back. I was the whole time, okay, I see the impact and I see the growth, but we are a team of five very close friends. And it was super, super hard for us. None of us has built a business before to
Mhm.
find that leverage. And I'm very happy and grateful for that one moment when a sustainability manager of a larger company was coming across us and asking me in a conversation at a fair, Max, do you build these communities only for universities and clubs and neighborhoods? Or could we actually establish that within the company? I think with the trust layer and the
Yeah.
insurance and the contract management, you could really leverage companies, and this would enable you to earn also a monthly share. And so I had the last puzzle piece of this economic sustainability, which is needed in a business with this new feature. And I was very happy that this signal was coming from the market because since I am so fascinated by this vision, I would have continued with universities as well.
I really feel you. And it's something, I mean, the engagement is sometimes so high that you're so much in your tunnel. And as you said, a signal from the market, I mean, what can happen better than that? And I like also how you share your story because it shows life is not life is not just not one way. Life is that you have your eyes open for, yeah, for people you meet, for sentence you listen to, for word you listen to, and then catch it and bring it together, as you said, in a puzzle, and understand that often life is a puzzle and it's not everything given first, and it doesn't need somebody who says, okay, Max, I tell you now how it works, and then you start and go and it's getting successful.
So this is the sign for everybody who hears us now to do what you dream about and to do and uh,
Yeah.
not to fear, to overcome that fear and just do baby steps. Just start slowly.
Yes, but don't stop. Never, never stop. And
Exactly.
I mean, I want to share a small story with you there. I had a few days ago investment banker on the phone, and we were just talking because a friend of mine and him, she brought us together, and she's a kind of often doesn't, because I'm in a community where this is the key. So she brings people together, and I had him on the phone, and I thought, what should I do with an investment banker? And then I said, let's discuss what is your driver and what's my driver. And then I started about talking about environment and mental health, and then I said, do you have kids? And he said, yes. Why? I said, how old are them? He said, 2 and 4. I said, how do you deal with digital devices? And then our break, and that break brought us together really deeply. Now we are on to phone something together about supporting the needs of the 0 to 5 years olds, where nobody thinks that they need special support because of digital devices, of getting back to nature because they come from nature. But not sometimes these special situations, and you're somebody who keeps an eye open, who is open for chances and for your intuition. And this is great. I love that, because this is a message to all of us listening here, that the best advisor is us.
Exactly, exactly. Beautiful said. What is your opinion? Should we try to protect our children from digital devices?
Good point. When I was not a mother yet, I had to give an interview for a big women's magazine, and I felt so powerful and so expertsful. And I said, oh, you have to do this and that, and don't give your digital devices to your kid before 6, and then just 10 minutes a day. And so when you're 10, then half an hour a day, and just this and this and this programs. When I got a kid, and I had him at a play date when he was 2, and he came back, and he was really upset. I said, what did you do? Oh, we watched a movie. Oops. Okay. What movie did you watch? So called the parents, really upset, asked them about it. Said, oh, yeah, our kid is daily watching television or iPad for an hour or two or so. And I am, as an in my inner eyes as a neuroscientist, I thought, oh my God, damage in the brain structure and so on. So yes, going back to your question, I think it's super important to understand the risks for the building brain about digital devices, because this colors, the fast moving pictures, the fast moving light, this is not good. On the other hand, we can't avoid that children get in contact with this. So it's super, super important to start very early, teaching parents and children both how to deal with this instrument. No?
How
As
to use it, right? Like how to
exactly.
use use your phone and not let your phone use you, right?
Yes, exactly. How to use it, and not how to let others tell you how it's used or fall into something sudden
Yeah.
that you see how it uses you. Yes, exactly. We need that. And this is something everybody needs about digitization. And I mean, I assume you are very open-minded, but on the other hand, you know exactly where you have to say stop, or where it's you making the first step. Is there anything what you would like to share with us as a kind of hacks or structure instrument you use over the day or in your daily work routine, which makes you keeping that grounded?
Yes, disable every notification from your phone whatsoever. Like I don't use any notification. No app has a notification. Even the work apps don't have them. Because when I work on something, I really want to get things done. And I like this concept of time boxing, but I have to admit, I'm not following it on a daily basis. I do it for big tasks and when I really have to finish something, when it's urgent almost, when the deadline is tonight, for example. But I think the biggest hack and the biggest change, because I didn't know that when I was in my youth, was the notifications. And since then, I'm so much more productive, and I feel like I consume social media and digital like information much more efficiently, and obviously use all of those AI tools. And if you think for work you're using those enough, use it double that. I've been at a hackathon with a bunch of 20 years old, and it sounds ridiculous because I'm in the end of at the end of my 20s, but it felt so different because they are working so differently, and they were so fast because they were using ChatGPT or any LLM for any question, for any task. And this opened my eyes, this hackathon, because the 18-year-old team, it was one of the youngest teams. They have beaten everybody, which was ridiculous and interesting and fascinating to me.
Oh my God, that's really interesting that you share this, because it's an eye opener and shows us also where we are as a society and where we have to be very careful. Because I mean, Germany is one of the countries worldwide with the highest trust in ChatGPT, even if it's a fake. So
Mhm.
this should give us some idea on what trust building means. Going back to that, what you do. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, it comes out to an end our talk, and I would have so many more questions, you know that. But thanks God we have the time to talk about these things also outside and many further. And I'm very, very much looking forward to doing this together with you. If you want to give one sentence to the people, um, maybe to motivate them to get out of their box, to get into their intuition, into their spirit, into their engagement, where they burn for, what problem they want to solve. Is there maybe one advice you could give them, a small one?
Yes, I want to go back to this little sign to start the podcast you always wanted to start, to tell the person that you love, to tell them actually that you love. So it can be the big things, it can be the small things, but follow your intuition and do what makes you happy.
Thank you very, very much. It was such a pleasure having you here, Max. And yeah, let's support what you do. Everybody will listen here to you. And I look forward to our ongoing exchange and the impact we'll continue to make together the world a
Good,
better place.
good talking to you, Annabelle. Thanks for having me, and I'm excited for seeing you again.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to Inspiring Minds, where captivating narratives fuel our aspirations for a better world. Join Anabel as she introduces extraordinary individuals whose stories motivate us to act for a world worth living in.